We start with a breathing exercise. Because right now my heart is thumping and I need to calm down. I may cut that out, I may leave that in. I may post it on YouTube as a podcast, but the bottom line is this will be, at the very least, an audio podcast. And I think to start with, our target audience has to be all those people with insomnia like me. All those people out there who need a podcast to help them fall asleep, to help them turn off the chatter in their brain. That's what I've been looking for. That's what I use every night. It's either podcasts or audiobooks, but usually podcasts. Almost every night. Drives my wife crazy. Gotta pull back on that. So today is my birthday. Today I turned 64. Oh, man, just happy, grateful to be alive. 13 days ago, was it 13 days ago? Man, it might have been 14, might have been a full 2 weeks ago. May 30th marked the 2 year anniversary of the day I had my chest ripped open, my heart extracted from my body, and a fine doctor from the University of Texas did a double bypass on me. And here I am, 2 years later, still alive, feeling good, feeling like I could drop dead tomorrow or I could drop dead in 30 years. Nothing's guaranteed. You asleep yet? It's okay if you're not asleep or if you're just, listening to the podcast, doing your laundry, you're on a walk. Most likely, most people will completely ignore this podcast, but that's okay. That's okay. This podcast, this idea of mine, this project I'm embarking on right now. Oh, shoot. Okay, maybe I need to open my eyes and see what I'm doing here. Oh, hi. Okay. Um, yeah, it helps me relax with the eyes closed. So, I need to speak up. I need to remember some things. Here's my idea. I wanted to start doing this on the 2 year anniversary of my double bypass. And it's a big idea. It's an idea like like actually most of my ideas may never come to full fruition. But, you know, there's nothing like a fresh idea starting off with you're all gung ho. I want to do this. I can't do this. And then you're a day or two, a week, a month, 3 months, however long you get into it, and you're thinking, man, I don't know if I can do this. Was that really a good idea? Did I have what it takes to finish that idea? Well, you start off thinking you always can. Oh, shit, watch it, man. You start off thinking you can always finish the idea. But in my personal junkyard of half baked, half finished, never completed ideas, um, I want this one to be. I would really love to finish the cross the finish line on this one, but I realize that is a really heavy lift and a tough ask. But God, my heart just started thumping just thinking about it, just talking about it. Holy shit. Okay, but here's the seed of the idea. Okay, um, for my birthday today, June 12th, 2025. Thank you. This is what I'm gifting to myself. Now, whether it ever crosses a finish line remains to be seen, but at this very moment in time, I'm thinking, I'd like to try this, okay? Because, like I said, I could drop dead tomorrow, or I could drop dead in 30 years, or in a year, or 5 years, or 10 years, or 13 years, or whenever. But you know what? I made it to 64, and that is, I'm going to try to refrain from cussing as much as I can for a while here because the people that might be watching this, listening to this, there's a wide range of ages, let's just say. Or I could get two listeners, one viewer. Thanks, Mom. Um, but I'm doing it really for me because this idea of mine is yeah, anytime the heart starts racing, the idea of doing this, the idea of not finishing this, the idea of crapping out on day 3 of this idea, it causes anxiety. So I'm going to breathe through it and take it a day at a time. So here's my idea, right? And it all started around the time of my bypass, of my surgery, my impending surgery. So let's see. So yeah, it was 2023, May 26th. 2 days after Bob Dylan's birthday, one day before my late sister Tracy's birthday. But on May 26th, I had a procedure where they injected my veins through my arm, a dye where they could look into my heart. And my cardiologist had told me that you'll probably need a stent. He said I had 2, 3 months before that, he had told me I had 10 to 90% blockage. So lay low for a couple months and we'll figure out what it is. But you'll probably need a stent, right? So that was the news I was delivered in. I think it was March of that year, and then in May. No, maybe it was February. Anyway, May 26th on a Friday. That's my neighbor calling for his cat. Sorry. Okay. Well, I'm in my backyard. Anyway, so May 26th, I go in on a Friday. It's a 3-day weekend. Go in on Friday thinking I might need a stent. I come out of the procedure, and the doctor tells me, yeah, you've got 70% blockage in your left main artery, and you need to come back on Tuesday, 3-day weekend. So we can't do it Monday. Can't do it on the weekend. So Tuesday, come back for. We're gonna crack you open and see what's going on and see what we got to do. So here we are, 2 years and 13 days later, and happy to be alive, grateful to be alive, having another birthday. But so I had that 4 days of processing the fact that I had never spent the night in a hospital my entire life. I spent most of my adult life without a primary care doctor. Um, Let a lot of things go over the years. I had one ambulance trip after I got hit by a car on my bike, riding down Doheny at Doheny in Santa Monica in Beverly Hills in 1999, I think. So I got this big bump right here, and that was that's pretty much, other than some cuts, bruises, a few broken bones, broken foot, stitches over the years, but nothing like that would require a surgery and an overnight stay. 3 days, actually. So, yeah, I had double bypass open heart surgery and 4 days to think about that happening. And, you think about all kinds of things, people dying on the operating table. So I tried to be as positive as possible. Didn't do the deep dive into the internet and exploring the worst case scenarios. Just kind of talked to some friends that had gone through stuff like this and posted on social media what was going down, how I'm feeling good about going into this, feeling positive, and basically got an outpouring of love and support and kind words from a huge cross section of people who I'd come to know, and friends, family, and people I met on road trips. A hitchhiker I picked up from Europe in 1997. He was one of the first. Alwyn. He was one of the first people to reach out to me. So I was really moved and touched and inspired by all these messages, and it's like you got a montage of your life happening as you're reading these things and thinking about these people, and I realized that it's the kind of thing where you live your life. I live in a small town in Texas with my wife. She grew up in this town, and most of the people, I have a great group of people that I interact with here. My in-laws, my wife has a big family. A lot of them live here close to us. They've been here for 50 years in this town. So I have a lot of those great people to spend time with. And I met a lot of people in town, and done some teaching in town, so I know a lot of kids, but which has been amazing. It's been amazing to drop into a place into a situation you never thought you'd find yourself in, and really meet some wonderful people. But also, most of my family's in California. I got family on the East Coast, and because I've traveled so much, I've met people in a lot of people in a lot of places, and a lot of them showed up in my in my Facebook comments and Instagram comments. So here's my idea. Long-winded, but you're here to try to fall asleep, right? And you might be asleep already, or you might be mindlessly folding your clothes and not even paying attention to this, or maybe you're on a walk and you're paying very close attention to this. I don't know, but here's the idea. This is what I want to do, and it's going to require the kind of perseverance and follow through that I've yet to prove that I can do. So this might be the first and last episode of this, or this might be the first of 365 episodes. And here's my idea is simple. It's I want to try to do a podcast a day. I know, stupid. You hear Joe Rogan's got a staff of people and a studio and a right-hand man, and and he's got he comes out with 2 or 3, 4 podcasts a week. I'm a guy in a backyard with a laptop, a desktop, a Zoom, a microphone, and a desire to have conversations, whether it be 13 minutes or 130 minutes. That's that's the amount of time I'm going to give myself to talk to people. All right. So how does somebody go about talking to 365 different people? Well, I'm going to break down every day of the week is going to have a theme, right? All right. So these are working ideas. This is what I'm going to shoot for now. It could change, but on Mondays, Working Man Monday. That's going to be me talking to people I've worked with in various jobs over the years, from writing jobs to working on writing, being paid to write movie scripts to teaching to what else? Yeah, you know, freelance magazine stuff, all kinds of stuff I've done over the years. I got paid to write some stories for Roger Daltrey. Met with Roger Daltrey at the Whiskey Bar off the Sunset Strip in Hollywood, and talked with him. And he was going on tour. He wanted to tell stories about his songs, and I got hired to. They gave me a list of songs that he might be playing, and I was supposed to research his life story, read his autobiography, and write little stories for each of his songs. That's just one example of a whole bunch of odd jobs I've done over the years. So Monday will be feature me talking to people who I've worked with, because these people are your Facebook friends. You may comment on their stuff, or you may not, like me, enjoy their things once in a while and rarely comment on anybody's things, because here's my thing. I want to comment on everything. My impulse is to comment and engage with everyone, and I realize that I can't, I can't do it. It's just too time consuming. There's too many other things I'm trying to do, and as much as I would love to, I'm sorry for not engaging more. But this is my chance to have conversations with people that I've really enjoyed getting to know, whether it be, I met somebody one night in a bar, or family members I rarely talk to people I worked with who I think are awesome, but you don't have conversations with these people. So what I'm going to do is try to have a conversation per day for a year, post them either at the very least audio available on all the at least on Apple iTunes, hopefully on all the podcast venues. Some will be audio and video on YouTube, but all will at least be podcasts. So that's the idea. So Monday's the working stuff. Tuesday will be Taxi Tuesday. So in 2010, my former girlfriend, now wife Molly, 2009, Molly had moved from LA, where we met and started dating, and moved back home to Austin. And a year later, I followed her back. I didn't want to move out here to the Austin area until I had a job, and I got a job working on a documentary about Janis Joplin. And so I was hired to work with the director on the treatment, on the whole story, and then she was going to shoot some footage, some interviews out in Texas. So I figured that was a great time to move to Texas, and for the first week out here, I did research for her. I gathered equipment, set up interviews with a couple guys that Janis had gone to high school with, and just teed it up for her to have a smooth shooting experience while she was here. That was week one. Did all that stuff. Week two, I went with the director and a camera guy and a intern she'd hired, the daughter of a yoga instructor that she'd met in Austin. So the four of us went to Janice's hometown and did all this work. And by the end of the week, I was told the production was shutting down and they'd get back to me when things picked up again. And so 2 weeks into my move to Austin, I didn't have a job and I got a job driving a cab. Didn't think, it was going to be a do this until I can get some more writing and documentary work. And 3 years later, I was still driving a cab. But but in the meantime, in those 3 years, I had just amazing experience. It was one of my favorite jobs ever. I made what I feel like lifelong friends doing it. Met some great people. Had some just countless, endless, memorable experiences. So, in the course of doing this, it was right before Uber and Lyft became ubiquitous. So this was the last glory days of cabs when it was hard to find a cab. Most cab drivers were cranky and rude, and it was just pretty miserable experience for most people. But I had a couple things going for me. A, I like to drive, and B, I like talking to people. So I became a everybody's favorite cab driver because I gave out my number, and people would call me when they were in a pickle. And so I have in my phone right now, I haven't done a count, but it's something like over 200 phone numbers of people I would put, if your name was Bonnie, you were Austin Bonnie. If your name was Chad, you were Austin Chad. So I've got a lot of just dozens, hundreds of Austin blank people in my phone. So, and I used to take pictures with my phone. I had a blog for a while, Austin Taxi Driver Confessions on do512.com. So I've sold books out of my cab. I got a feature story write up on in the Austin American Statesman, the big local paper, did a profile on me. So anyway, it was an interesting experience, and there's a lot of those people that I haven't talked to in years, but I follow on Facebook and Instagram. So it's really cool to watch their lives unfold. But it'd be weird for me to call them up and say, "Hey, how you doing?" on the phone. No, that's probably creepy. But if I did have a podcast where every Tuesday I could reconnect and catch up with these people, um, a couple dozen of them went. I had a customer appreciation party in my backyard, and musician friend of mine, played. Um, I had some barstool poetry nights in Austin at different bars in Austin, where a bunch of my regular customers showed up. I think a half dozen of them went to my wedding, our wedding. So it's just a really interesting cross section of people. I'd love to hear some. And I've got some audio recordings of cab trips I took. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Every Tuesday, I'm going to try to reconnect with one of my old cab customers and catch up. So, okay, that's Tuesdays. Let's see, Wednesdays. Wednesday. What did I want to do on Wednesday? Oh, Wednesday is Wanderlust Wednesday. That's going to be a good one. So I've got countless hours of audio recordings and little micro cassettes, digital recordings. I've got video. Got a lot of cool pictures of just various road trips I've taken over the years. From the first one I've got any media for is when I was 25. I rode my bike, a mountain bike, across America from Manhattan Beach, California, Pacific Coast, um, to Boston. 50 days, 50 days. And I had a little micro cassette recorder. And so I've got audio from that trip. And so I'd like to revisit stuff like that. In 1997, when I was 36, I got a $50,000 advance from a New York book publisher to travel across America in my Volkswagen van for 100 days, going bar hopping, talking to people about love and marriage and relationships. And so I have I've got a box of microcassettes from that trip. So, and I have a lot of people from that trip who I follow, I'm still connected to on through social media. So I would love to talk to some of those people. And other trips, I started a blog in 2003 called, back when there was not much social media, but this is way before, this might have even been before MySpace, and it was before Friendster when I did all this, before YouTube, all of it, and very few blogs. My blog was called The Greatest Year of My Life, and I ended up getting subsidized for about a year and a half by a couple of friends from college who were doing well in business, and they allowed me to travel across America and do volunteer work once a week, good deeds once a week, and write about my experiences. So in the course of that trip, I met a ton of people, many of whom I connected on social media. Would love to talk to them. So anyway, Wanderlust Wednesdays will be reconnecting and hearing from various people I've met through my travels. Let's see. Thursday. Thursday. What was Thursday? Am I going to have to cut this? No, I'm trying to help you fall asleep, remember? Yeah. Let me breathe and think about this. Thursday. Oh, yeah, I remember. Thursday. Thursday will be Throwback Thursday. Throwback Thursday is simple. For the last 30 years, God, almost 40 years, I've been doing interviews with people, actors, writers, directors, musicians, athletes, and regular people. I did an interview like 4 teenage boys for a Q&A for Sassy magazine in the 90s. I've interviewed Keanu Reeves, Tiger Woods, Mark Wahlberg, Little Dicky. And I'm going to have, let's see, how are we going to do this? I'm going to make a list, and I'm going to have, hopefully, I'll get some listener engagement on which ones I can revisit. So I'm going to do that on Thursdays. That is just a pure recycle old interviews. Why not? I've got a 4-hour phone call interview I did with Bruce Dern. It was for a 400-word piece for Emmy magazine. It was the the interview was supposed to be 20 to 30 minutes, but the publicist warned me that he could get chatty. 4 hours later, I was not trying to keep him on. I was simply a vessel for listening and being interested, which I was, in what he had to say. So that might have to be a two-parter, possibly even a three-parter. I've never re-listened to that one, but I have a lot of them. Most of them I only re-listen to when I do the transcripts, and have not re-listened to years, decades later. So I've got a vast backlog to recycle on Throwback Thursday. Okay, Friday. What are we doing Friday? Time to breathe again. Throwback Thursday, Friday, family. Yeah. I try to make a list of family, like blood relatives only. I'm not talking in laws. They got a lot of fascinating in laws. Blood family and like in law, like brother in law, sisters in law, those, counting those, I'm up to around 50. So that's a whole year if you just do Fridays. So yeah, because I live in small town in Texas, and most of my family is in Southern California, with the East Coast, Virginia exceptions. Um, it's hard to stay connected. It's hard to talk to people on a regular basis. It's physically easy, but people just don't do it, and I don't do it, and it's no reflection on how much I care and love these people, but it's hard to stay engaged in busy life. So I get it. I talk to my mom once a week, and that's about it. Terrible. But so I'm looking at this as a way to talk to people I don't talk to enough, and talk to people who I almost never talk to beyond crossing paths at birthday parties and anniversaries, holidays, and the occasional funeral. So that's, and you know how you it's these kinds of conversations could be long and fruitful, and we'll see what happens. But I just want to engage with my family on Fridays. Saturday, what's Saturday? Let me think. Yeah, Saturdays. Saturdays we're going to call school days Saturdays. School days Saturdays. Because I love the people I went to school with, the people I met through school. Um, Middle school and high school friends. Um, I don't see and talk to nearly enough. Um, but I see them on social media, and I'm like, God, I'd really like to play golf with that person or go have dinner with that person. But I am way the hell out here. And even if I was out there, would I? I mean, it's hard when you lose touch over the years, but this would be a good time to talk to the people, not only middle school, high school, yeah, maybe even reconnect. I moved a lot when I was younger, so I didn't settle down in one town until eighth grade. But it'd be fun to even find the people from, third through sixth grade who I haven't seen since college years. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, this might be the one episode. So, but to cross that finish line 365 days later, to think that I could have reconnected with all these people and thrown some new people in there, um, could be incredible. So, the idea of it today is amazing to me. But you're asleep by now. That's good. Um, so that's Saturday, and also college. My college web of friends is fascinating, illuminating, and hilarious. And so getting to talk to those people would be really fun too. So hopefully I can get some engagement on that, guys. Thank you. Um, that's Saturday. We got one day left. Oh shit! I just burped my first burp, my first and last burp. I will never vowing that to the podcast audience. I will never burp again on this podcast. I hope. I'll try. Okay. So we've got Working Man Monday, Taxi Tuesday, Wanderlust Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, Family Friday, School Day Saturday, Sunday. So I had a couple ideas for this. First, I wanted to call it Sacred Sunday. Then I wanted to call it Special Sunday. Now I'm just calling it Smorgasbord. Smorgasborg? Smorgasborg. I think it's a G at the end. Maybe it's a D. I'll clarify that. Let's call it Smorgasbord. Smorgasbord. Sunday, which means when I think of smorgasbord, I think of a buffet. My parents were divorced when I was 6. My brother Deke was 5. So we had every other weekend with my dad. And when he was a single dad, Sundays he would take us to Sir George's Smorgasbord. And it was the highlight of our week because you could get to walk down a line and just pick out as much food as you want, all kinds of different options. So Sunday, smorgasbord. I'm going to get that. I'm going to figure that out. Sunday. That's going to be, that could be anything. It's going to be a cross section of stuff that pops up on my radar, people that cross my path. Maybe it'll be a bunch of people from Elgin who I incorporate into this idea of mine. We'll see what happens. But today is Thursday. Today is my birthday. This is day 1 of this experiment. I don't know how long it'll last. What I'm telling myself, I'm going to give it a month. I'm going to try to go hard for a month, see what that feels like. I've got a lot on my plate right now. I haven't even told Molly about this idea. I haven't told anybody about this idea. I'm going to pitch this idea as I have the guest on my show and see what they think. So my guest tomorrow hopefully will be Molly. It's going to be my mom because tomorrow's Friday and it's Family Friday. And my mom is my first family member because I was in her body. So maybe I'll go with Mom on Friday. And then it's going to be tough is day 3, school days. That's a Saturday. I got stuff going on. I might just go Molly on Saturday. I could do Molly tomorrow because she is my family, my wife. Do my mom on Saturday for the school days because, that's what I'll do because she was around for my early school days and she dropped out of school to have me. So that's how we're going to have that first school days will be an asterisk. It will not be somebody I went to school with. It'll be my own personal school days. There you go, with my mom. And so the first, because then I'm sure she'll talk to me. She better talk to me. So we got 3 days of guests lined up here. And it shouldn't be too complex to shoot this stuff, download it, do a quick edit. It's going to be very low tech, low rent for the first month. I'm just telling you right now. And hopefully we can get some help, maybe get a sponsor or two. If we can show proof of concept for a month. But in the meantime, I'll get more comfortable talking into a camera on my laptop. I am recording this, and that's my idea. God, I've been vacillating whether to go, just blow it off. You can't even, do you really want to have another public failure on your track record like this? Come on. But again, if you can't use a open heart surgery, near-death experience situation to do better, do different, and just really do something you wanted to do, you feel in your bones you can do, you should do, then fucking do it. Sorry, kids. I know I promised no cussing. Just, I'm really gonna try. I'm gonna do better. Um, so that's it. That's all I got. You know my idea now. I don't know how long it's taken. I've taken my glasses off. Usually I go through life with these on, but right now they're dirty. They're smudged. They magnify my eyes. Oh my god, that's what I'm looking like. Yeah, guys, I'm 64 years old today. I'm going to be singing that Paul McCartney song all day long. You know I will be. But this is a new endeavor, and I'm going to do it for as long as I can. I got one under my belt. Now I got to go edit it and post it and try to. Then I'll spring it on my wife tomorrow. See, see what she thinks. But we got to at least go hard for a month, right? Let's see what a month looks like. So thanks for checking this out, and in the next few days, weeks, I'll explain more about where is that thing right there. I can't even get that. Yeah, that and that back there. There's a labyrinth back there. Anyway, thanks for listening. I hope help you fall asleep. Maybe we'll broaden our audience beyond the insomniacs who need a podcast to fall asleep to. But let's just start there. I suspect it might be a pretty big group. So this is your friend Bob Macala, for those of you that don't know my full name. Signing off. Episode 1 in the can.